If you enjoy using videos in the classroom, then you definitely want to have a look at EdPuzzle. EdPuzzle gives you the ability to convert any online video into a lesson. EdPuzzle is a free tool for both teachers and students, and it's even available as a mobile app as well. To begin, you want to navigate your browser to edpuzzle.com. Once you've arrived there, you want to click on Teacher Start Now. You will be taken through a brief tour to have a look at some of the features offered by EdPuzzle. In this screen, we're shown that we can trim our videos to the desired length. This way, if the video is much longer than our anticipated lesson, we can make some edits to customize it to our liking, and then click on Continue. We can insert a question at any point of our video. For example, I might ask my students, what is the purpose of a computer network? You are also provided with a dashboard so that way you can determine how well your students understood or did not understand the lesson. Click on Create My First Lesson. Now to begin, you want to sign up. You can sign up using your Google account, Edmodo, or you can just register with your first name, last name, your email address. I'm going to choose my Google login. Now, once logged in, you have the ability to import materials from your Google Classroom if you have a Google Classroom set up. I happen to have a Google Classroom page set up, so this page is allowing me the option to do so. We can also invite our students to join our class by providing them with a short code. You can have them visit this link. You can send it out to them as a tweet, an email, or you can even incorporate it into Google Classroom if you are a Google Classroom user. To begin, we want to first set up our classes. You want to click on My Classes, and then you want to click on Add a Class. I'm going to just call mine Test Class, and then click on the check mark. So to invite your students to join the class, they would navigate to the website, and on the main page where we selected teacher or student, your student would select the student option and enter this code into their account. Or, once again, you can have them visit this link instead, which actually embeds your code here, or you can incorporate this into Google Classroom, send it out as a tweet if you have a Classroom Twitter account, or send it out as an email. To begin, we would want to search for content. So let's say, for example, maybe I would choose, well, I already talked about computer networks, so how computer networks work. And then you click on the search. Notice on the left-hand side I have the ability to also search from YouTube, Khan Academy, LearnZillion, National Geographic, TED Talks. I have a variety of different locations that I can choose from. Since I've spoken about how computer networks connect, I'll go ahead and choose this particular video. Click on the blue button that says Use It. Once we arrive at this screen, you can use the sizing handles here on the timeline to trim your video to your desired length. Of course, you would want to preview the video first, so that way you can make the appropriate decisions about where to trim your video to. Once you've played a segment of the video, so at this point, if we wanted to insert additional options, we can. We can insert an audio track, which I'm not sure why I would want to do that at this point in the video. We can include some audio notes, or I can choose to embed a question. So a question I may ask at this point would be, double-click the question mark, which component is the brain of the computer network. You may notice that in this window I have some options for formatting or adding additional features to my questions. I can choose some of the standard formatting options such as bold, italics, and underline. For example, I may want to place this in italics because this is helping my students to make an analogy between the brain of the human body and the brain of the computer. So this is a concept I probably want to drive home with them. Another option would be to insert a hyperlink. We can include an image. We can include an equation for those of us who are doing math. And we can also delete this question. I can also leave feedback in response to the answer that was given to the student. Perhaps I want to reveal the correct answer regardless of how the student answered. I could have that feedback pop up after the student has supplied an answer, so that way a student will be aware of whether or not they are on the right track. So I'll go back to the question, and as you can see here, I can also make this multiple choice. So I can type an answer choice here, I can type an answer choice here, I can add additional answer choices here. So for example, I can type in router, I can type in hub, I can type in let's say switch, and then I'll say save. I'm going to select router with the check mark, the green check mark, and the red X mark as the other two options because router is the correct answer for this particular question based on the video. Click on save, continue, right, and here I can go in and type in an additional question mark, and then choose save. You want to continue with this process until you have embedded each of the questions that you would like to include in your video to check for your students' understanding. Once completed, you would then click on the blue Finish button. After you choose the Finish button, you choose which class you would like to assign it to. Who is going to do it? I can choose my Principles of Infotech class. Then I have another Principles of Infotech class here. I'm going to choose the test class that I've created at the beginning of the video. I can choose to allow or prevent skipping of questions in my video, and I can choose to indicate a due date as well. Click on Send, and this activity is now part of my student classroom. So now within my test class, I can see that I have my assignment listed here with my video with embedded questions for my students to complete. I can choose to add a due date to this assignment. I can view my students' progress to determine the percentage completed. This would work typically if I have already set up my class members ahead of time and then have them logged in. We can choose from different options for sharing. I can send this link to give direct access to the assignment. I can use embed code to embed this into a learning management system or on a website. I can send it through Facebook, Twitter, I can send it through email, or I can share it to Classroom. Another way would be to just invite your students through a share code. This code provided would be used for students to log in from the EdPuzzle website and join your class. Now, as a student would log in the same way that a teacher did, except you would choose I am a new student. So students would select I am a new student, fill in the required information to sign up. They can choose Google, Edmodo, first and last name with email address. I'm going to go ahead and choose an email address. Now, once I'm in the welcome screen, I can choose to join a class. I can choose that from here, or I can click on the blue Join Class button here. Students would paste in the join code that was provided to them from the teacher page, click on Search, and here's the test class, click on Join, and we now have the ability to watch the video. If we choose Start, at this point in the video, a question appears and the student is to type in the answer to the question and click on Submit. This answer will register in a teacher's dashboard and gives us a way to measure our students' understanding. So which component is the brain of the computer network? We would simply type in router, submit, and continue. From there, the student would continue with the rest of the video and any additional questions. Back at the teacher's dashboard, we can see that we have a student that has joined our course, and we have progress that is available, progress report. We have a percentage completed, and we can now have a look at our student's progress. So once selected, we see that we have a student that has joined. We have a list of the questions that were answered. We see the last time that was logged in, the student logged in was 4 minutes ago. And we have a status of whether or not the assignment was turned in. We can choose to then grade the assignment. Which component is the brain of the computer network? Router. That is correct. So therefore, we now have our student grade for this particular assignment, which will appear in the classroom gradebook within EdPuzzle. I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation over EdPuzzle, and it is my hope that you will find a way to utilize it in your classroom. It's a great tool that can be utilized across any content area in the form of a flipped classroom opportunity for our students, or an opportunity to have them reinforce concepts learned in the classroom while they're at home. I hope you enjoyed.